Let's get on. Jason's dying to talk about the Met Council. Maybe we'll get back to that in a minute. But boy, I didn't know that stuff, and I'm definitely angry right now. Now I'm about to get angry.
You are.
Dennis is depressing me.
I don't have any better news.
Yeah. Oh, jeez.
We were hoping for better news from you, Jason.
No, it's no
Spill
good.
it on us here. Met Council, Botno Boulevard Partnership. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Bradley's spent a lot of time going over this stuff, buried in this garbage. He's going to lay it all out for you right now. The floor is yours until I interrupt you
Okay.
again.
Well, here's the thing. I mean, it doesn't start with Hennepin County. It doesn't start with the Met Council. In fact, if you look at Agenda 21, which is a big, huge UN document.
Conspiratorial? We're getting conspiratorial here.
It's on their website.
Oh.
Okay, you go to un.org and you can find it. You can Google Agenda 21 and find it.
Sustainable development.
Sustainable development. I will put a link on www.wordpress.com/communitysolutions.mn, and I'll throw all these notes up there so that you can do the research yourself. Everything I'm going to quote today is from government documents and government websites. It isn't speculation.
Which they sometimes deny exists, by the way.
Yeah, but Agenda 21 is all about sustainable development, which is development that meets the needs of the present without compromising the ability of future generations to meet their own needs. It's a fancy way of saying that we've got to control things because you're too dumb to do it.
Oh,
that's about it. Yep.
The elitists, that's the elitist pledge, isn't it?
Yes, it is built on 4 interdependent, mutually reinforcing pillars of economic development, social development, cultural diversity, and environmental protection. So it envelops everything: industry, the environment, housing, transportation. This is shocking. The preamble to the United Nations Conference on Human Settlements in 1976 said, land cannot be treated as an ordinary asset controlled by individuals and subject to the pressures and inefficiencies of the market. Private land ownership is also a principal instrument of accumulation and concentration of wealth, and therefore contributes to social injustice if unchecked. It may become a major obstacle in the planning and implementation of development schemes. The provision of the decent dwellings and healthy conditions for the people can only be achieved if land is used in the interests of society as a whole. Public control of land use is therefore indispensable.
So they're saying that private ownership of land is a bad.
They are. Yeah. But yet our government, our Department of Urban Housing and Development, has gone and given them reports at the UN on how they're doing. They willingly submit to this Agenda 21.
That's right, global government.
Here's what they told them.
Global government can save mankind.
Yeah. Here's what they told them in 1995. Community sustainability infrastructures designed for efficiency and livability that encourages infill over sprawl, compactness, higher density, low-rise residential, transit-oriented and pedestrian-oriented bicycle circulation networks, work-to-home proximity, mixed-use development, co-housing, how to blah, 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 biking, walking, whatever. So we're going to see this come back. There are 2 types of development. There is development-oriented transit, where you have existing communities and you link them together with mass transit. That's what, in the past, we have done. The buses go here and there based on where people live. And then there's transit-oriented development, or TOD, and that is what we're talking about here. The transit-oriented development is usually people living within a half mile and having higher density condos over ground floor shops, and lots of biking and walking and ways for people to get to mass transit hubs, and then people taking mass transit so they can control how people get around.
They can also control, if they not concentrate enough people in one area, they can control the whole population.
Yeah,
right.
Control every aspect of our lives almost.
And for us to say this isn't going on, well, it is. If we look at the 2012 budget that President Obama submitted.
Yeah, if you can stand to look at it.
And you can find the highlights on reconnectingamerica.org. There's a 6-year, $556 billion surface transportation reauthorization bill. $556 billion. $119 billion for transit programs. That more than doubles the commitment. $53 billion to fund the development of intercity and high-speed passenger rail. And this is to be reclassified as mandatory spending. And again, our friends with the Department of Urban Housing and Development get $4.1 billion for Livable Communities program, which is this transit-oriented development that we're talking about, and another $151 million for communities to develop the housing around for low-income housing. So Reconnect America is somebody who works with the federal government. They have another arm called the Center for Transit-Oriented Development. You can find that on the Reconnect America website. And they've been funded by the federal government to serve as a national clearinghouse for best practices and information to help our states and our communities to do the things that the way that they want them to be done, because that's how we get the money. We get the free money because we are doing things the way the federal government wants us to do them. They wouldn't give us the money if we weren't doing things the way that they wanted.
Now, see, in the real world, isn't that called extortion?
Yes.
Or bribery?
Yeah.
Bribery, yeah. So at a state level then, you would think it would go through the House. No. It's all the Metro Council.
The Men in Black, they do exist.
They do. It's a regional planning agency that's broken up into 16 areas. They have 16 people that are appointed by the governor, and those represent 16 different areas. And then the governor also appoints one at-large chairperson for the Metro Council. And it's what, 3,700 people work for the Met Council, and they get $700 million a year, and 90% of it is funded by local property taxes, state appropriations, and user fees.
And stuff,
And so we're taxed from multiple angles to have taxation without representation.
You know what I call these people? I call these people our central planners. That's what they are. This is a way, you know what this is? Again, I'm interrupting because I can.
Yeah.
This is a way for government, for the people in government, to put decision-making off to a third party.
Yes.
Well, it's not us. Talk to the Met Council, right? I mean, that's...
Right. And they keep everybody in the dark, the general populace, by obscuring all these decisions that are being made into councils in which the voters have no representation.
Yeah, and that's the thing. They're so far ahead of us. I mean, they're working on this 2030 plan, which they've been planning this stuff for a long time. When it gets to 2030 and they're implementing all this stuff,
they'll have a 2050 plan.
They'll have a 2050 plan, and we've got no say because it's been in the works for 10, 15, 20 years already.
Well, the whole, what we live in, called the Northwest Corridor,
yes,
the whole 169, 81 area by Osseo, I know that was part of that 2030 thing too. Was the whole, I can't remember what
the Devil's Triangle.
Devil's Triangle, yeah.